is on assignment, Dr. Fred Mayako. Sonny, the South Albany Rebels come in. Yeah, they're the Mid-Willamette Conference champions, and that has been arguably the toughest conference over the last couple of years. But the record's 6-4. They've had their ups and downs this season, and as we've seen films from early in the season to the last couple of weeks, they have an ever-changing offensive setup as far as the different formations that we expect them to throw at Hermiston's defense tonight.
Yeah, it can go anywhere from I guess if you want to call a gunner type offense, like similar to what we run to a gunner wing tee, to a straight and so you don't know exactly what you're going to see. We seem to think we're going to see more of the gunner wing type offensive sets, but they will set out a lot of times, switch on the outside, and with only
Kyle Miller and Gunner team or Colton Green in at either tight ends off the line, or we would call them around Hermiston's offense H-backs, where they're behind the tackles here on this offensive line for the South Albany Rebels. The Bulldogs have rushed out onto the field through the smoke machine and the blow-up Bulldog, and now here on the west end zone down in front of us, purple tops, black numerals and lettering trimmed in silver with black pants and black helmets with a purple H on the side. They huddle up around the third-year head coach and 10th year with the program, David Faitete, into the end of his first decade here in Hermiston. Their final, this is really hype up at this point. Lots of jumping up and down and jubilation. South Albany on the far sideline, all white uniforms, red numerals and lettering, red helmets, and they have a bit of black trim. For Hermiston coming in 8-2, they've won 7 in a row, and the offense has really shown us something different every week. We've seen option, we've seen straightforward run, we've seen the ball get extended down the field a little bit more frequently by Andrew James. We've seen a lot of running receiver screen type stuff, bubble screens and tunnel screens to get everything opened up. So the variety is for Faitete is also the offensive coordinator for his team's offensive attack have been, well, varied this season.
Yeah, you know, and the thing about it is it all depends on what type of defense our opponents come out with. If they're going to double team Deshaun, or if they're going to take away some double and triple teams, then you're going to see different offensive sets out of Hermiston.
We're getting our final instructions from our friend Joe Thompson here over the public address speaker. The teams are ready for the anthem. Still waiting for the coin flip with this officiating crew tonight in this OSAA US Bank Les Schwab Tires 5A quarterfinal from Kettison Field at Bulldog Stadium. We'll take our final 2-minute break here on the Sway Motors pregame show. Come back with the anthem, the coin toss, and kickoff after this on KOHU and KSHO. played by the Hermiston High School Marching Band, led by Sean McClanahan, their director. Captains are going to go to midfield, and they will have the coin toss here tonight. These teams are playing for a spot in next weekend's semifinal. Lebanon and Wilsonville are the other two combatants in the bottom half of the bracket. The defending state champion, Lebanon, honestly got into the playoffs, although it was tight down the stretch in the Mid-Willamette Conference. Against Wilsonville, the team they beat last year in the title game, Wilsonville has been flying high, and it's just kind of been that continual question of how good was the Northwest Oregon Conference this year?
Yeah, you watch them and you take a look at, Crescent Valley most of the year being, that good, and Wilsonville coming up. You just saw things that kind of surprised that Wilsonville stayed up there in that number 2 or number 3 slot, all year long. And your officials tonight, come out seated number 2 in this 5A bracket now. They're a good football team.
Teams at midfield right now, and the captains getting ready for the coin toss, getting their instructions from the White Hat tonight. The top half of the 5A bracket as we continue our look through Dan's West Coast Auto Glass scoreboard. Silverton is at Mountain View. Mountain View, the number 1 overall seed, undefeated. The team that beat Hermiston 8 weeks ago, 2 months ago, the last time Hermiston lost. And then Crescent Valley is at Churchill. And Churchill lost their top receiver, Miles Green Richards, last week to an injury in their win over Pendleton, whereas you have Crescent Valley, who is the team that went into the final week of the season against South Albany in position to win the Mid-Willamette Conference and to be undefeated. But they were playing without their top player last week. He's back this week. Afunga is going to play in this game. Green Richards is out of this game. How will that add intrigue when they're down in Eugene? So those are the 4 matchups tonight in the 5A. 2 games next week. This one is just moments away from getting started as the captains return to their respective sidelines. Hermiston down in front of us. South Albany on the far sideline, and beyond them in the distance for those fans in the valley who have never been here. The old Umatilla County Fairgrounds are beyond us, and that is actually now Hermiston School District property. They've got a new parking lot that's not quite ready yet off to our right over to the east side. As we look to the north, it is cool this evening. There's not a ton of wind, which is something that sometimes can play a role out here in Umatilla County. But tonight the temperature is going to be cool. It's not actually as cold as it was a week ago, Sonny, as Hermiston is going to receive the kickoff here tonight from the South Albany Bulldogs, and they will attack left to right to start things off this evening. Osvaldo Ramirez, their junior kicker, has it teed. He's a right-footed kicker, has it on the left hash. Back deep, Deshaun Neal to the right, and Yobani Razone to the left. It's going to be towards Razone. No, Neal will take it at the 7. Moving down the middle of the field, 15, 20, 25, a seam out to the far side, 30, 35, 40. Near midfield, Neal makes a miss into South Albany territory down the far sideline, and he's ushered out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. In fact, they will say right on the 30 is where the kickoff return is taken by Deshaun Neal, and the Hermiston offense starts with a very short field.
Deshaun do. You want to see Deshaun go ahead and take the football on the kick and go ahead and make something happen. And, we'll see if he does the same thing on the punts. But very short field, like you said, a 30-yard field to work with. Let's see if we can punch it in first play.
Andrew James is the junior quarterback. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, 180 pounds, and he's in a pistol set with Jonathan Hinkle behind him. 3 receivers to the right, high snap, pulled down, Hinkle handoff, up the middle. He'll put his shoulder down, bust inside the 25, still on his feet, pushing the pile inside the 20. First down yardage all the way up to the 18. Jonathan Hinkle, with those 12 yards, gets his season total up to up to 800 on the season on his 104th carry. He's been into the end zone 11 times on the ground, has 6 catches for 50 yards as well. He's the bruising back at 5'10", 185 and a senior. Stands to the right of James on this 1st and 10. Hand to Hinkle again, running up the middle, and Hinkle will be caught right around the 15-yard line, picking up 3. He's running behind that left side. A.J. Fernandez, the left tackle, is 6'1", 250 pounds and a senior. Bo Blake, 6 feet tall, 285 and a senior. The center is Jacob Levy, 5'11", 230 and a junior. Jose Watto, 5'11", 250 and a senior at right guard. And Taylor Arnold, 6'5", 205 and a senior at right tackle. Right side, Andrew James trying to run, and he will be pulled down in the backfield. A flag comes out late on the play, and we will check for the first time from this officiating crew. A little bit of a pause here. Now looks like personal foul is going to be the indication.
Have a personal foul on the offense. Illegal blindside block. 15 yards. Repeat.
So an illegal blindside or crackback block, and that's going to take some of the air out of Hermiston's sails with 10:51 on the clock in the first quarter. On this opening drive, after the kick return by Deshaun Neal all the way down to the 30-yard line, Hermiston has it 2nd down and a country mile, 2nd and 22 from the 32-yard line. Tyler Rorman wide to the left. Joey Gutierrez inside of him. Keaton McCamey. Blitz coming right up the middle. Play action. James looking deep for Neal at the 5. He's backy pedaling and catches it, sitting right on the 1-yard line. Deshaun Neal, 56th catch of the year. He is just over 900 yards with that catch and was just a yard short, 2 yards short, they mark it, of his 15th touchdown reception of the year. 1st and goal. From the 2, right hash mark. Hinkle behind James, takes a hand up. Hinkle stretches for the end zone, he's in. Touchdown Bulldogs, Jonathan Hinkle.
Stretch, get the running game going, which we saw Hinkle do. Number 2 is being able to go ahead, and now they're going to stretch the field down with Deshaun with the 30-yard pickup, then come back with the power on the run.
The extra point is going to be off of the foot of Deshaun Neal. The long snap from Taylor Arnold to the holder, Jordan Ramirez. Low snap, Ramirez has it down. The kick is up, left goal post and inside of it to make it 7-0 with 10:24 on the clock here in the opening quarter. And Hermiston is out in front. Well, we talked about at the end of the Weimar Bulldog tailgate show, Sonny, one of the things we were looking for is they have to start quickly. And tonight, they get this first drive and a good quick start.
Yeah, and a very good job that time, you know, of Deshaun. It all started with Deshaun, making sure that Deshaun got on his game right away, because you saw the energy he brought on that pass play. By Deshaun going ahead and picking up the kick and returning it, following his blockers on the outside, did a very good job of jump-starting. The penalty did a little bit of a, hiccup in there, but then Deshaun with the energy was able to get by the defender.
But it seems like the big thing, the penalty doesn't become crippling to the drive, and so that 15-yard personal foul on the illegal blindside block doesn't end the drive for Hermiston. Eli Nafziger is to the left, and Cameron Hemzacek is to the right, both standing on the 10-yard line with their toes. 10:24 on the clock in the first quarter, and Deshaun Neal has it teed, ready to kick off with Hermiston leading 7-0. Spinning kick right at the 10, taken by Nafziger. He'll go right up the middle. 25, he breaks a tackle. At the 30, he breaks another. On his feet and pulled down finally across the 35-yard line. And the return will go for 26 yards. They'll mark it at the 36, and that's where the South Albany Rebels offense will take over. This season, they're averaging 20 points per game. They give up 20.7 points per game. It kind of gives you an idea of how close things have been this year in the 10 games for head coach David Younger in his 5th season at South Albany. He's also their offensive coordinator. It is two H-backs, one behind each tackle. And the back to the right, play action by Jake Costello. Deep ball, right side, little underthrown, and it gets over the top of the defensive back, but incomplete on the far sideline. Knopfsiger got behind the DB he was locked up with and was able to pull it in, but he had his heels on the white out on the far sideline, and so Hermiston is able to get away with that mistake. And I believe it was Tyler Rorman just misplayed it.
Yeah, I mean, he had it locked up. He looked like he was going to try and go for the interception. And that time there, he just should have went up and kept running and batted it away.
Ray Wilson is the running back to the right of quarterback Jake Costello. Both honorable mention out of the Mid-Willamette Conference. Wilson takes it running left side, zigs around one defender, pulled down right at the line of scrimmage by Joey Gutierrez, the strong safety, coming up to fill the spot and make the stop. Christian Caspino is the sophomore at left tackle. Angel Huerta, honorable mention out of the Mid-Willamette Conference at left guard. He's a senior. Three-year starter at center, that's Colin McCoy. He's first team all Mid-Willamette Conference, both sides of the ball. Senior at right guard in Alex Diaz, and Kyoko Sugioa is the senior at right tackle. Motion man right to left, two wide each side, 3rd down and 9, throw into the left flat. It is caught and immediately sniffed out. The tackle on the play made by Peter Earl as it was completed to Cameron Hemzacek. But Hemzacek, the sophomore, pulled down after just gaining 1, and 4th down and 8 for South Albany. 9 minutes and some change left in the first quarter, and the Bulldogs up by a touchdown. So they get to see this for the first time tonight. Oswaldo Ramirez is the place kicker, and he will kick this in a place kick on the punt. The holder is Joe Dunn, and Deshaun Neal's back to receive, expecting this to be angled towards the Hermiston sideline. It is. Neal will watch it carry out of bounds, and we'll see where this ball is spotted. It carried out, and they're backed up all the way to around the 15, but they're going to have to come up near the 35, I would think, at least. Gary Poston, the former Eastern Oregon University linebacker.
Oh, wow.
Led the nation in tackles, but they say at the 30. That's
not
ridiculously. That's ridiculously ridiculous. That's what we're going to go with. 8:42 in the first quarter. Hermiston's offense back on the field, facing this 3-4 alignment from South Albany. As I said, the Rebels give up just over 20 points per game. 1st down and 10 from the 30. Andrew James with the back to his right. It's Earl. Play action to him. Throw near sideline. Gutierrez has it on the screen. He'll break one tackle up to the 35 and is shoved down. In there on the tackle, Kelmata along with, that was again Knopfsiger in on a play for the Rebels. 5-yard gain brings up 2nd down and 5 with 8.5 minutes left in the opening quarter. Keaton McCammy's going to check off for this play. Tyler Rorman near sideline. Neal goes to the left along with Gutierrez and Ramirez. Earl is to the left shoulder of Andrew James. 2nd and 5. Play action. It's going to be kept by James. Running option. Bounces off a tackler at the 40. Breaks another at the 45. Spins away and will walk himself out of bounds at the 50-yard line to avoid any hard hit from the linebacker Colton Green.
19-yard pickup that time by Andrew James. Just a good job of bouncing off would-be tacklers, and you know, he is so good at that little spin move.
Into South Albany territory. Hermiston looking to add onto a touchdown lead with 8 minutes, 23 seconds left in the first quarter. Trips receivers to the left. Empty backfield with two options to the right for James. The junior quarterback slaps his hands together. Quick throw right side. Tyler Rorman has it on the near sideline, and he's out of bounds just across the 40-yard line. For the Bulldogs, they'll pick up 6, 7, it looks like. They'll spot it down to the 39.
And that's nice to see them getting Tyler Rorman involved this early in the game, Eric.
Kakoa Sugioka is the nose tackle. Ray Wilson and Alex Diaz are diminutive ends. They walk up the outside linebacker, so it looks like 5 on the line on this 2nd and 3. Play action, throw left side, tip ball, incomplete. Diving for it was Neal. It was intended for Gutierrez, but out there on the side, Green again got his hand on the ball to knock it away. Green in the linebacking core, along with Kyle Miller, gunner team. Preston Mayer and Diego Ramos in the inside, both recognized by the Mid-Willamette Conference. Mayer was their first team all Mid-Willamette Conference linebacker. He and Ramos, the quarterbacks of this defense. For Jeff Luber is the defensive coordinator under David Younger, the South Albany head coach. 3rd down and 3. Earl again in the backfield. Play action to him. Throw near sideline. Roman dropped it. Incompletion, although I think this is 4-down territory for Hermiston.
Yeah, it probably so. Either that or they could flip this field and just bury South Albany deep.
Hinkle's coming in.
They're
going to stay the offense on. At the 39-yard line in South Albany territory, 4th down and 3. 8:09 left in the first period. And Hermiston up 7-0. James slaps his hands together, takes a handoff, gives it to Hinkle. Hinkle edges to his left, got the first down and more across the 35. Running down the right hash mark. It was Sugioka who pulls him down, but not before he gets it to the 34 at a 5-yard gain and moves the chains.
Nice job that time by Hinkle and the Hermiston offensive line.
Tempo offense for Hermiston, 1st and 10 from the 34. Good jump on the near sideline by Wilson for South Albany. High throw far side, tipped off of Neal's hands out of bounds.
Eric, I'd like to see that same play, but have Andrew just do a little bit of a pump and Deshaun turn up. There was that far side cornerback cleared out, and once he did that, there was nothing until about the 20-yard line.
The junior Eli Knopfsiger looks to be locked up with Deshaun Neal wherever he goes tonight, or at least he's on the same side of the field as Neal, who's in the slot right. 2 receivers each way. Hinkle in the backfield. James keeps it on a quarterback option, spins off of a tackler across the 30, and he's down to the 27-yard line, picking up about 7 on the run.
Nice job again by Andrew on that read option, and seeing that the end was crashing. You know, if you watch the film, you see that an awful lot. The ends tend to go ahead and come in and pinch hard, and once they get in, if they get trapped, you have a chance to bounce it outside of them.
3rd down and 4 from the 27. Quick throw right side for Neal. He hits off his fingertips. Throw was off course from James. And incomplete will bring up 4th down and 4. But if you go for it from the 39, you're going to go for it from the 28. Because they're well outside of field goal range for Hermiston.
Yeah, I think Andrew's just a little ramped up, and maybe that Deshaun ran a little bit slow pattern. If he would have snuck down the field just a touch. They are clearing out on the receiver ahead of him.
4th and 4. Hinkle in the backfield takes a handoff. It's a reverse to Neal. Neal's stuck in the backfield now. Neal can't throw it. He'll come back to the right side, and maybe he's got a full head of steam. Dives across the 25 and down near the 23. Deshaun Neal ran out to the far side and then decided to switch his field, and he gets a 1st down out of the deal.
85 yards for 6. But a great job.
It will move the chains for Hermiston with 7 minutes left in the first quarter. They try to add on to their 1-touchdown lead on their 2nd offensive drive of the game. South Albany had to punt on their first drive. 2 wide each way. Hinkle to the right shoulder. James, the junior quarterback, slaps his hands together, and South Albany jumped on the hard count. So Hermiston will get a cheap 5 yards and get themselves a little bit closer to the end zone. U.S. Bank is proud to partner with the Oregon School Activities Association from the start of the game to the final whistle. Stop by your local U.S. Bank today. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. So, Hermiston, 1st down and 5. Now at the 18, right hash mark set. Andrew James with the back to his left, 2 receivers each way. Eye snap, James will fake a throw and hand it off to Hinkle running behind the right guard. He'll come short of the 16-yard line, where he is pulled down by Colin McCoy. 3-year starter, both sides of the ball. He is first team all Mid-Willamette Conference in both defense and offense, came into the game with 42 solo tackles and 2 of those behind the line of scrimmage. Couple of yards for Hinkle, and it's a 2nd down and 3 for Hermiston. McCammy's in the backfield to James's left shoulder, and Hinkle's deep. Handoff McCammy running right side. Good jump cut. He's inside the 10. Outside the numbers, pushes his way down to the 8-yard line. Saw that they had good outside containment, and he had a nice cut back to his left to find a hole.
Yeah, and then he secured it and waiting for anybody to go ahead and come in from the side. But McCammy, they followed off Hinkle on the motion and left that linebacker wide open one-on-one with McCammy, and McCammy's shoulder got the 1st down.
1st and goal from the 8, right hash mark. Peter Earl is in the backfield. He'll take a handoff, running right up the middle, sees a hole to his left. He'll go that way. Inside the 5 is where he's stood up by the South Albany linebackers. And the first one to him looked to be Gunner Team.
Nice 4-yard pickup by Earl, a good running that time. I still would like to see him run with his pad level a little bit low, because they're going to start teeing off if he comes through like that. But that's a good change of pace running attack between the real power of Hinkle and the scattiness of Peter Earl.
Peter Earl stays in the backfield on this 2nd and goal from the 4. And Keaton McCammy to the right shoulder of Andrew James. Fake, running to the right side, dump it to McCammy at the goal line. He's into the end zone. 2nd touchdown of the year for Keaton McCammy, and it's a 2-score lead for Hermiston with 4:56 on the clock in the 1st quarter.
Nice job, nice play action.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
But McCammy, you're standing in the end zone, just walk over the end line.
So the extra point, again out of the hold of Jordan Ramirez, who has taken these duties from A.J. Tue, who again is not available for the 2nd straight week. The starting strong safety and the holder in special teams is not able to play. So Ramirez, good on a 2nd hold. The kick is through. 14-0 Hermiston with 4:56 on the clock in the 1st quarter. Let's take a 1-minute break on our stations, listening to Hermiston and South Albany in the 5A quarterfinals. Back, leg, something.
They're both shoulders.
Big hit on the kickoff return by Eli Nafziger. And South Albany's starting position is the 23. They're down 14-0 with 4:51 left. We didn't get to see a whole lot of South Albany's offense on that first drive, 3 and out for David Younger's team. Jake Costello is their quarterback, 6 feet 2 inches tall, 175 pounds. He is a senior, and he'll be in a shotgun set with Ray Wilson a step behind him and to his right shoulder. 3 receiver options right. Handoff up the middle for Wilson. Wilson will get a couple to the 25-yard line. Costello's also a danger in running the ball as well. He came in with 404 yards on the ground this season. In 128 attempts, he only had 6 fewer attempts than Wilson did.
Yeah, and that's a key. You get Wilson that type of a run there, and you have to be able to go ahead and stuff it at the line. And again, if they're going to try and test us, make them test us out.
2nd and 8 from the 25 with 4:19 left in the first quarter. Hermiston up 14-0. Pulling it down, Costello thinking about running. He's bottled up and in trouble. It's a team sack as McCammy was there along with Eric White, but Costello pumped, looked right, and decided he was going to run, and it just closed in on him immediately. It was Eric White coming in and sealing off that hole.
That's the difference. You see the team and how they play with Eric White on the field now, and we've talked about it, about how how much more depth we have.
2-yard loss. Back to the original line of scrimmage of the 23. Costello in the pocket to throw. Near sideline. Will whip it. Nafziger has it. Breaks a tackle. Nafziger across the 40, across the 45, and all the way down to the 48-yard line. He had a little bit of a cushion here on the near sideline and then broke through a tackle of Yabani Razone to get himself near midfield and a South Albany first down.
South Albany's first down of the game, Eric, that time on a pass that was very, very well covered, but we just missed 2 tackles.
First down and 10 from the 48. 3 receiver options to the right. Costello, designed run for the quarterback. He'll get across midfield as he is pulled down by Peter Earl and Andrew James on that 3-yard scamper. Huddle for South Albany. They'll switch some guys on. They'll switch some guys off. Ray Wilson's going to come out of the game, and into the backfield is Gunner Team. Second team all-conference on the offensive side for South Albany. 2nd and 7. Throw right side, and it is dropped on the far sideline by Cameron Hamzacek. Brings up 3rd down and long for the Rebels with 2:37 left in the first quarter. And Hermiston in front, 14-0.
Hey, Eric, I haven't seen it yet. I don't see that they're that much quicker, but we sure are giving them a lot of cushion. And that time there, we had given them at least an 8 to 10 yard cushion, and it's not hard to complete a pass underneath like that.
3rd and 7. They completed a 3rd down last time. This time Costello, design run, near side, has the first down at the 40, makes a man miss inside the 35, where he's wrestled down by Razone. Costello was able to sprint himself forward for 15 yards. However, hold on back at midfield. There's a yellow hanky down on the field, and South Albany's walking backwards. We'll hear the call from the White Hat.
Holding against the offense. 10 yards. Repeat, 3rd down.
Jake Costello had a big hole, and maybe because somebody grabbed on the left side of the line where Huerta and Caspino are.
Yeah, it results in a 9-yard penalty because it was just a yard off the line of scrimmage. But Hermiston did a very good job that time of number one, forcing him to take off, but number 2, then they missed the tackles again. That's what we talked about earlier today in linebackers.
Let's see what's on the playbook for 3rd and 18. Costello, right side, will throw to inside man, cutting across the field. Big hit, the ball is out, still bouncing around. Hermiston pulls it down at about the 38-yard line. It was knocked out of Anthony Polito's hands, his 6th catch of the year, and the senior got hit pretty hard. Polito seems fine, but the turnover gives Hermiston the ball. With 57 left in the first quarter. And a 14-0 lead.
Yeah, that time there, he had about 9 yards on the regular reception.
I am the Rolling Monkey.
Órale! So Jonathan Hinkle. First down and 10 from the 38. Hinkle will step up to the right shoulder of James. Play action. James will throw. Lots of time in the pocket. Now he shuffles out to his left. Trouble. He'll come back to the right. Looking for blockers. James is going to pull it down and run. Flag is out as James is up to the 42-yard line. About a 4-yard gain, but that's going to come back, I believe, for a holding penalty.
Number 1, they should have had a defensive holding. The defender on the far side, number 2, actually tackled our receiver out there.
No, it's not a hold. It's just a block in the back. And it is a 10-yard penalty, so it'll be first down. Taylor Arnold is the one who was called for the illegal block. By the way, as Andrew James scrambles around, one of the things we are watching tonight is there are a trio of Bulldogs. Well, I guess there's 2 of them, and just 3 different milestones that are approaching. Andrew's running game is the closest. He is 36 yards away coming into the night from 1,000 yards on the ground this season. First down and 21. James pistol set, turns and hands, Hinkle running right. Hinkle, slow developing play, busts through a second level, he breaks another tackle, shifting to his left, flag out as Hinkle's up near the 40-yard line. The flag came from the back judge and hit Bo Blake, the left guard, in the chest. And could this be another Hermiston penalty? I wonder, though, this might be far enough downfield. They've got it at the 36-yard line that Hermiston might end up only losing, as far as the line of scrimmage goes, maybe a yard?
Illegal block in the back against the offense.
Another illegal block in the back. And so, yeah, it moves it back to the 26. And instead, it's first down and 22 instead of first and 21.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it races a nice little run by Jonathan Hinkle that time of being able to, get his yardage. But, the bad thing about it is that we're running plays and not getting any advancement on it.
James will hand off. Hinkle running left this time. Hinkle busts again at the 35, 40, far sideline outside the hash marks. He's at the 50, 40, down the far sideline, 30, and it just out of bounds around the 26-yard line. Jonathan Hinkle breaks a big one for the Bulldogs.
52-yard run that time by Hinkle on the play, and he just did a great job following the rush, following the passers and stuff like that.
So it brings it down to the left hash mark. Talking about Andrew James, he is 10 yards away from 1,000 on the season, and he would become the 4th Bulldog in the last decade to get 1,000 yards on the ground. First down and 10 from the 26. High snap pulled down, hand off to Earl. Earl bounced to his left, and he gets maybe a yard running down the left hash mark. And Hermiston's got it with 55 seconds left in the first quarter. In South Albuquerque territory after the big Hinkle run, 14-0 their lead. It is, by the way, 3 other running backs have done it. I went to the era that David Faitete has been with the program. Second down, and we'll call it 9 from just short of the 25-yard line. Left hash mark set, James rolling right, blitz that way, throws it into the flat. McCamey has it. McCamey upended right around the 20-yard line by Nafziger. A 5-yard gain. So the other thing we're looking for Andrew James is he came into the game 166 passing yards away from 2,000 for the season. He could be the 3rd Bulldog in the last decade to do that. That's the final play of the first quarter. 14-0 Hermiston. After 1 quarter in this OSAA US Bank Les Schwab Tires 5A State Championship quarterfinal at Kennison Field. We'll be back in a minute on KOHU and KSHO.
Quickly.
Bulldogs start the second quarter leading South Albany's Rebels 14-0. 3rd down and 5 facing Hermiston. And it's a handoff to McCamey running right side. McCamey dives across the 15-yard line out and up to the 11. He reaches for a first down and a 10-yard gain for Hermiston. Keaton McCamey came into the season with 6 carries and 66 yards. And since that's kind of an unlucky set of numbers, he was able to get off that with a couple of carries tonight.
Yeah, he's got 18 on 2 carries tonight, just doing a great job.
First down and 10 for Hermiston. They've got it at the 12, so they can get a first down without a touchdown. James, shotgun set, looking left. He will throw over the middle into traffic, incomplete. Joey Gutierrez on a slow developing slant and triple coverage for the South Albany Rebels to knock the ball away. Andrew threw the ball he threw the ball 21 times, completed 12 last week in the win against LaSalle Prep for 226 yards and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. This season he's thrown for now just short of 1,900 yards, 23 touchdowns and 5 picks. 2nd and 10, handoff to Hinkle running left side. Hinkle with a full head of steam gets caught at the shoestrings and pulled down by Knopfsiger and Wilson. Right around the 9-yard line, a 3-yard gain for Jonathan Hinkle. By the way, we had mentioned at the end of the first quarter, so 3 milestones. Andrew James is now 10 yards away from 1,000 rushing on the season. He is about 105 yards, 110 yards away from 2,000 passing. 3rd down and 7, James to pass to the right corner, fade route to Neal. Up he goes and pulls it in for a touchdown. 1-on-1 with Knopfsiger, and it is... has thrown this year, and with that pass he is now just about 100 yards away from his 2,000-yard passing season, and Deshaun Neal is now right about 100 yards away from 1,000 yards as a receiver. Neal will have to tack on the extra point with 10:51 left in the second quarter. Neal out of the hold of Ramirez. Good snap, good hold, kick is up. It is through, and it is 21-0 for Hermiston. The Bulldogs have come out and hit South Albany quick, and they've hit them hard. Now, this Rebel team will not go away. They've been the comeback kids, and for David Younger, the cardiac kids all season long.
Yeah, and what Hermiston absolutely needs to do is they absolutely have to, keep this up. If they go ahead and start any type of a let-up whatsoever, this South Albany team has shown that they can go ahead and, number one, take a lot of time off the clock with their possessions, but also put the points on the board. And they do have the X factor. They have a kicker that can hit a field goal anywhere from 45 in.
The problem is right now, down 21-0. I know we're only a minute and 9 seconds into the second quarter. It's too big of a scoreline to worry about a field goal deciding things, and it's too big of a scoreline to try to milk time off of the clock right now. South Albany's going to have to score, and they're going to have to do it quickly, and Hermiston has put up these big number quarters or these big number stretches this season, and the question's going to be how much longer can they sustain this? Neal has it teed up. Back to receive, Knopfsiger and Hemzacek. This will be Hemzacek at the 4. Right hash mark, moving to the middle of the field at the 15, 20, 25. He'll shimmy to his right, back up, come right, and is pulled down. And the ball is out. Hermiston says they have it. Jordan Ramirez comes out of the bottom of the pile with it. The officials haven't pointed yet. There it is.
Yes, it is.
Hermiston with a fumble recovery on the 23-yard line. And it's lost by Hemzacek.
I am.
10:36 left in the second quarter. Hermiston trying to add on to a 21-0 lead.
And I believe he is also the one that caused the fumble.
That knocked it out, yeah, because Hemzacek started to back up. He was going to try to come out of the rugby scrum and come to the near sideline, and it was popped out. Now Hermiston is short a player. It was Ramirez. He'll go out wide to the right with Deshaun Neal inside of him. Gutierrez and Luke Walshley to the left. James with Hinkle to his right shoulder, 1st and 10 from the 23. Play action, looking for the end zone, rifled over the middle, going down at his shoe tops. Neal cannot pull it in. Incompletion, and 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, he's a little upset with himself. That hit him right about just below the knees. That's one that he might have, well, he should have had that one. He should have gone down for it. But, you know, Andrews waiting and waiting and waiting until he can get in the open. They had him double team that time on Deshaun again. So that's going to watch for Joey Gutierrez on that little sneak out of the backfield.
So 2nd down and 10. Hinkle again to the right shoulder at James. He'll slap his hands together. Blitz coming up the middle. Throw out to the far sideline. Ramirez has it. Ramirez inside the 20 at the 15. And Andrew James got hammered back behind that play by Preston Mara, who is the inside linebacker coming on the blitz. Whitehat didn't see anything wrong with the tardiness of that hit. 10-12 left in the 2nd quarter, 21-0 Hermiston. And a 3rd down and 1 for them with the nose of the ball on the 14-yard line. Right hash mark set. Hinkle to the right of James. Receivers stacked on top of each other, 2 each way. James with a keeper, faking it to Hinkle, running right, jumps over a tackler, is tripped up at the 12-yard line, but it is enough for a Hermiston 1st down. And Andrew James is now inside of 10 yards from 1,000 on the season. So, Sonny, can you guess, or do you know off top of your head, the other 1,000-yard rushers?
Go
with the easy one first.
Bobby
Adams, 2011, 2,058 yards, most rushing yards in Hermiston history. We'll have to, you get after this 1st down play, so you get some time to think here. 1st and 10 from the 12. James with a keeper again. They fake the sweep to Neal, and James is going to lose yardage. No, he gets 2. Up to the 10-yard line, he'll run. And so now he's about 6 yards short of 1,000. So you got Bobby Adams, 2011.
I'd say his brother, Corey.
Corey Adams, 2014, 1,072 yards. By the way, they could have had 2 that year. Sam Colbrate was 2 yards short of 1,000, had 998 yards. The now wrestler at Iowa State. And there's one more. 2nd down and 8, and we'll get back to it. I'll tell you this, the hint is it's between those 2 years. High snap, but it's bounced and then picked up by Hinkle. Hinkle dives forward across the 5-yard line. It bounced off of Andrew James' hands, but it hit on the side of the ball, so it was like a dribble right into Hinkle's hands, and he will get it down to the 4. However, Hermiston has a player down. It was away from the play. And it looked like a injury on blocking. So, well, Dan Emery is out there to check on things, and Dr. Earl joins him. Let's take a moment or two. You have that 3rd one now?
In between Bobby.
In between Bobby Adams, 2011.
Looks like Taylor Arnold.
injured Hermiston player. There's 8 minutes, 38 seconds left in the second quarter. Hermiston's lead is 21-0, hosting South Albany. The OSA, U.S. Bank, Les Schwab Tires 5A State Championship quarterfinals. Let's step aside for a minute, stations, and we'll come back and hopefully have an update on the injury on AM 1360 KOHU and KSHO in Lebanon, Albany, and Corvallis.
Sure.
Out of the pause for the injury, it's a right side run for Joey Gutierrez. He gets down to the 1, but a holding penalty on Hermiston is going to move them backwards. That was Taylor Arnold who was called for holding. Arnold has a new man to his left shoulder. The sophomore Chase Bradshaw, who's 6'1", 230 pounds, will come in for Jose Watto. Watto is over on the bench behind the Hermiston players and off to the east of them by a few steps. Dan Emery and Dr. Earl are both there checking on Watto, who was the one down for a while with the Hermiston injury. The penalty moves the ball back to the 15. With 8:10 left in the second quarter and the clock is moving, Hermiston looking to add on to their 21-0 lead on a 3rd down and 13 from the 15. James, screen up the middle, and it is knocked down. And did it get picked off? It did not. It got knocked out of Deshaun. Well, didn't. Deshaun Neal knocked it out of the hands of Ray Wilson, the defensive end, sniffed out the screenplay perfectly.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was very lucky that that wasn't picked up that time by, by this team from the Valley. Andrew kind of made a little bit of a late throw that time, and it was well designed on the defense. They had all 3 linebackers sitting there in a bunch.
4th down and 13. They're going to go for it from the 15. Ball in the middle of the park. Andrew James, high snap, pulls it down, looking, throws it left too high, incomplete. And Hermiston will turn it over on down. So South Albany gets a defensive stop for the first time tonight on Hermiston's 4th drive. Their deficit is 21-0. With 7:50 left in the second quarter, they will come out onto the field and try to get their offense going here. Had a fumble on a kickoff the last time they got the ball in their hands. A fumble on a caught reception at midfield the time before that. So Albany's fumbled the ball twice. The Rebels will send just Nafziger to the left, 3 out to the right on 1st down and 10 from the 15. Costello throw near sideline. Joe Dunn has it. The junior up to the 20. Near side pushed out of bounds. Right around the 25-yard line by Tyler Rohrman. But it is enough for a 1st down. At the 25-yard line, South Albany's got it. Kyle Miller will go with Joe Dunn to the left, and alone to the right is Seth Collison, the senior who stands 6 feet 5 inches tall. And now timeout is called by South Albany. The Rebels head coach in his 5th year, David Younger. His journey to South Albany included a stop in 2012 as a head coach at Harrisburg. He was the defensive coordinator at West Albany for a couple of years in the early part of the decade. Prior to that, he was a assistant coach at Sweet Home. And at Sweet Home, he was an assistant coach to Rob Junker. Yes, his father, who is now the director of the Oregon Athletic Coaches Association. He's got his... When you have over 4 decades of experience, he's the one who decided they should go place kicker when they had some injuries to a long snapper and their punter at the start of the season. First down and 10 out of the South Albany timeout there, first of the half. Handoff, left side run for Team. Team gets into the second level and up the middle of the field. He'll get all the way across the 35-yard line to the 36. It's an 11-yard run and another movement of the chains for South Albany's team.
That time there, Deshaun Neal had to come up and make the hit for the final tackle. Team did a good job, and you know, South Albany starting to get some push out of their offensive linemen now.
First down and 10, left hash mark set from the 31. Scott Hammond, the 7th-year coach on Hermiston's sideline, his 2nd year as a defensive coordinator, pacing furiously. Costello will keep faking a pass, running left, running right into a pack of purple shirts, and is pulled down by McCamey and Hinkle. Gave him a gain of 1 on forward progress. 7 minutes left in the first half. Hermiston's lead right now is 21-0.
Yeah, Hermiston's doing a good job of with it. They run the same zone block scheme on our offense that South Albany's doing, and they're doing a very good job of getting to the push point before South Albany is getting off.
Collison alone to the left on the short side of the field. A bunch of 3 receivers to the right for Costello, a back to his left on 2nd and 9. Costello looks to throw, right flat, caught by Polito. Polito at the 45. Polito hit from behind and he fumbled it again. Diving on it, Tyler Roman has it at the 47-yard line. Polito had the ball forced out by Peter Earl, and Hermiston has recovered their 3rd fumble of the game. Andrew would love to be out there. He'll be out there a year from now for sure when Peter and this senior class graduate. He was the quarterback of the JV team. They're going to switch him, I think, to receiver with Andrew James in his junior year. James, shotgun set, 1st and 10 from the 47. And there was movement all over the place, including A.J. Fernandez.
It's got to
Well, it's going to be a left side run because he jumped out of his stance and got into run blocking. And Hermiston's walking backwards with 6.5 minutes left in the first half. And a 21-0 lead.
Eric, who recovered that fumble?
The fumble was recovered by Rohrman. It was knocked out by Earl.
Yep.
Back to the 42-yard line. The ball is moved. 21-0 Hermiston. Handed to Earl. Earl running left. Gets around the edge. He's across midfield. 40-yard line near sideline. 35, 30, and down to the 26-yard line. Pulled down by Kilmata. But not before the big run for the Bulldogs brings it deep into South Albany territory.
31-yard pickup that time by Peter Earl. 32-yard pickup that time by Peter Earl. Very good job of keying off the block out there of Walshley.
And at that point, it was a matter of getting around the 6'3 junior outside linebacker Kyle Miller, and he did. 6 minutes left in the first half, 21-0 Hermiston. And again, A.J. Fernandez jumps out of his stance early, and it's the second time on this drive that the senior 3-year offensive line starter has jumped early for a false start.
That's the 6th penalty on Hermiston already, and something we haven't seen in the last 3 weeks, and for 55 yards already on the night.
Ramirez, Gutierrez, and McCamey all wide to the right. Walshley left. High snap pulled down by James. He'll throw it right side into the hands of Joey Gutierrez. Joey Gutierrez is pulled down after just a 1-yard gain. Finished off by Mata. The honorable mention selection out of the Mid-Willamette Conference, the senior safety. So Joey's 1-yard gain brings it to the 30 and 2nd down and 14 facing the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that time there was just a little bit. If you're going to run that little screen, it's got to be a little bit. Either it's got to be a little longer than that, or it's got to be a lot faster developing. And that one there just took too long, and Joey had no place to go.
Bulldogs will break the huddle with Jordan Ramirez and Joey Gutierrez wide to the right. McCamey to the left inside of Neal. Earl to the left shoulder, James. Earl in there to block, James to throw. 4-man rush, deep ball to the end zone, turning back around, twisting, and just losing it out of his hands was Deshaun Neal. Neal had cut in on a post route, and it got thrown behind him, and he was almost able to switch himself back around and make the catch.
It almost, I'm wondering if Deshaun changed it up at the last there, because Andrew threw it to a spot on the yard markers, and Deshaun went inside of that. So, maybe a little bit of confusion on who was throwing to what spot, but it almost looked like.
Same 2 wide each way. Earl to the right shoulder, James this time on 3rd down and 14 from the 30. Hand off to Earl. Earl running left. They're going to get some of it. And then the ball is poked out. Hermiston recovers the fumble. A.J. Fernandez jumps on it at the 35-yard line. The question was Peter Earl down or not? And they will say he was. It was a fumble, and Hermiston recovers their 2nd fumble of the night. So for South Albany, the feeling's got to be every bounce right now for Hermiston. They've fumbled it twice and have gotten the recovery each time. South Albany has fumbled it 3 times, and they've lost it each time.
Yeah, and Hermiston's got to hold on to the football, Eric. They've got to get the push going again right now.
They're going for it on 4th down and 18. James empty backfield, 3 each way. James is going to run it himself right up the middle. James comes to his right, and James is slammed right around the 26-yard line, tackled by Anthony Polito. Taking a little frustration out. Polito's the one who's fumbled the ball twice for the South Albany Rebels. And Andrew James on that run, the thing he did do is he crossed 1,000 yards on the season.
Yeah, he does a nice job of trying to go ahead and Erica, one thing I haven't seen Hinkle in the backfield lately.
A little bit more Peter Earl this week. 3:52 left in the 2nd quarter. 21-0 Hermiston. Jake Costello in a shotgun set, 2 receivers each way. Back to his right shoulder is Team. And now South Albany's got to call a timeout. With 3:52 left in the first half, 21-0 Hermiston. We'll take the 1-minute break for our stations listening to the Bulldogs and the Rebels playing in the 5A quarterfinals. .343 left in the 2nd quarter, and Jake Costello keeps and runs right, gets 2 yards up to the 27-yard line. South Albany has 1 timeout remaining in the final 3.5 minutes of this first half. Looking through the Dan's West Coast Auto Glass scoreboard, Rich Devon lets us know that it's Silverton 21, Mountain View 17. 2nd and 8, thrown to the right side. Knopfziger has it down the near sideline at the 40, hit from behind by Earl up near midfield. The gain's going to go for 23 yards. And South Albany's got it at the midfield stripe, but this is going to be their, well, they're at the 50, so they haven't actually got the ball into Hermiston territory yet in this game, with the exception of Polito got it about 5 yards in, and then he was hit by Hinkle, and it got knocked out. First down and 10 from the 50. Costello looking to throw. Pump fakes. Throws. Deep ball near sideline. Rohrman's got it lined out. It's tipped up into the air out of Rohrman's hands. The receiver became the defender, and Nafziger made sure that Rohrman didn't get the interception on that first down play.
That was the second time that Rohrman's had it zeroed in for the interception, and that time there again, going for the interception, fine, but if you got a receiver that they're keying on that heavily, just knock the ball to the ground. Don't even give him an opportunity to pick that back out of the air.
Second down and 10 from the 50. Empty backfield for Costello, the senior quarterback. Takes a snap. He's going to run right up the middle and has some space at the 45, 40 in Hermiston territory. That's as far as he will go. Deshaun Neal helped out by Jordan Ramirez on the tackle after another generous movement of the chains. Felt like he had to get it across the 40. He got it right to the 40. With 2:35 left in the second quarter. Collison and Dunn wide to the left. Three options to the right for Costello. Again, empty backfield. Hermiston, 4 down linemen. Hinkle right in the middle. They'll rush 4. Hinkle was the spy. Costello gets past Hinkle, breaks another tackle inside the 30, and he'll gain another 11, and again, we'll move the chains for a first down.
And a good thing that time for Deshaun and for Ramirez again. You just can't keep, if you're going to spy, you've got to make sure that that's the guy you're spying does not get outside of you.
2:02 left in the second quarter. 21-0 the score line. They'll stay empty backfield. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. First down and 10 from the 29. Costello to throw over the middle. Hit as he thrown. It's knocked out by Rohrman, riding right on the back shoulder of Nafziger. When the ball got there, he slipped his hand in to knock it out.
Yeah, nice job that time by Tyler, making sure that, the pass was there. It was a good toss. Tyler just got the hand in and dropped it straight down.
Second down and 10. Minute 46 left in the first half. And a 3-touchdown lead for Hermiston. David Younger works coordinating the offense with Justin Smith, who's also the head basketball coach at South Albany. And he has his 5 starters out on the field right now. Second and 8, throw the far sideline. Caught by Dunn. Dunn gets out to the edge. He is pulled down and hammered out of bounds right around the 18-yard line. Second effort, Dunn ripped away from one defender, and it was Rohrman who had to finish him off. No, Neal finished him off. But a first down gain up to the 18, and South Albany has it in the red zone for the first time tonight. You'd feel pretty good if you could get into the locker room down 14 instead of 21. First down and 10, left hash mark for Costello. The quarterback, hands off, right side run for Team. Team breaks in to side the 15 and down near the 10-yard line is where he's pulled down. And Hermiston wants to call a timeout. Scott Hammond, the defensive coordinator. Gary Poston, the linebackers coach. David Fiatete, all walking towards this team. Now Fiatete will give way to the 2 assistants. With a minute 24 left in the first half, and Hermiston's lead of 21-0 is becoming a bit precarious. You can get to the latest information on your favorite high school teams at osaa.org. You'll find schedules and scores and official rankings for all member schools and all team sports at osaa.org. You'll also find playoff brackets, broadcast schedules, and historic records. For more information, visit osaa.org. And we've got the opportunity here. We just crossed 8 o'clock. Why don't we take 10 seconds for station identification? You're listening to South Albany and Hermiston playing in the 5A quarterfinals. AM 1360 KOHU Hermiston. Costello's going to fake a pass, run it out to the left side on this first play. Breaks one tackle inside the 5, pulled down short of the goal line, down at the 2. Costello gains a handful, and now South Albany is just on the edge of getting onto the scoreboard for the first time tonight.
Yeah, right now Hermiston has got to go ahead and start. You take a look at how this South Albany offensive line is going. They've gone big, Eric. They've gone to every one of the big guys up in there now.
Ray Wilson next to Costello, and another timeout for Hermiston. 2 timeouts here in the last 2 plays, and 1:17 left in the second quarter. 21-0 is the score line. The Rebels, they've been in close games. They've had this stick-to-itiveness attitude. David Younger's team has come back and beat Lebanon, come back and beat Crater last week. They upset to Crescent Valley in the middle of those 2 games, a 3-game win streak, and they've found ways to win. So down 21-0, you don't feel great, but if you're South Albany, you feel like you're still in this thing.
It's a lot like Hermiston. You come into this game, and South Albany has settled their offensive line down a little bit. They've made a couple of little changes in there, put in some more size, especially on the left side tackle out there, and that's where they've been kind of running in between that left guard, left tackle.
First and goal. Costello, the ball's out, dropped on the near sideline, and Costello dives back on top of it just before Peter Earl could get there. Almost a disaster for South Albany. They lose a few back to the 5, second down and goal from the 5-yard line. A problem on the exchange between Ray Wilson, the senior running back, and Jake Costello, the senior quarterback. Second and goal. Wilson to the left shoulder of Costello. Costello pumps, now he'll run left side. Costello bumped, stood up, stacked up, down to the 3-yard line. Gains 2 on the run. And now another timeout. This time, South Albany will take their final timeout of the half. 33.4 seconds left, 21-0. We got one more 1-minute break to get in stations. Let's take it right now.
South Albany's quarterback was shaken up after the minutes. Shredded.
South Albany's on the board. Jake Costello threw a square-out route to Eli Knopfziger to get into the end zone. Now Osvaldo Ramirez for his 23rd point after attempt of the season, and he gets it. 28.6 seconds left in the second quarter, and it's 21-7. Hermiston's got just a timeout left, so if they want to do anything here before the locker room break, it's going to need another big kick return. The game started with a big kick return. Hermiston would score a couple of plays later. They scored the first 3 touchdowns of the game, but South Albany put something together there, mostly with the legs of Jake Costello.
Yeah, I would right now, Eric, because only being 28 seconds left, and South Albany having a little bit of momentum, I would look to see possibility of an onside kick here.
The danger being, because you've got in Ramirez a guy who normally will put it near the end zone, if not into the end zone, is if you give Hermiston a half field with one timeout, you're just asking to have to defend their big guns. One of them is back to the right. That's Deshaun Neal. The other one is back to the left. It's a squibber. Ramirez picks it up. Ramirez at the 20, 25, 30. And Ramirez will fight his way up to the 34-yard line. Picking up about 13 on the return. So Hermiston's offense will have 21 seconds and a timeout to try to get their 21-point lead back. 21-7 right now after the Costello touchdown pass to Eli Nofziger. Pistol set, 3 receiver right. Hinkle behind James. James, a blitz coming, hands off Hinkle, running left side. Hinkle to the sideline, will run himself out of bounds, gaining a few up to the 38. Make it to 39. Second down and 5 to go. Hinkle's 9 yards short of 100 on the night. He had 129 a week ago in a touchdown in the win over LaSalle Prep in the opening round of the OSAA US Bank Les Schwab Tires 5A State Championship Tournament. Quarterfinals tonight, a trip to the semis next weekend on the line. 3 receiver options right, 16 seconds left. James, there's a flag out for delay of game before he could get the snap off. And so move Hermiston back to the original line of scrimmage on second down.
Against the offense. 9 yards. Still second down.
Now this has really been kind of on a, over the last 3 weeks, unusual. Hermiston has not been penalized. This is the 7th penalty already on Hermiston in the first half. They have not been penalized that many times in the last 3 games.
Coming up at halftime, we'll have an interview for you. Second down and 10. Handoff Hinkle again. Hinkle into the middle of the line and hammered by Wilson, the senior. And I think that's going to be the last play of the first half. So, 1 half done. 1 half to play here in Hermiston on Kennison Field at Bulldog Stadium. The Bulldogs lead the Rebels 21-7. And it is our halftime break. 2 minutes and we're back with the featured interview. You're listening to the OSA US Bank Les Schwab Tires 5A quarterfinals in Hermiston.
Ladies and gentlemen, this time, please direct your attention to the 40-yard line directly from the Bulldog bench. Please welcome Hermiston High cheer, Stardust. Stardust competed on November 4th, earning the #1 spot, and competes again next Saturday at Reynolds High School. Please welcome Stardust.
Don't act like you forgot. I called a shot. Like blood. Y'all should know me well enough. Don't act like you forgot. Don't act like you forgot. Don't act like you forgot. Put it up. Don't act like you forgot. I called a shot.
Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess. Paparazzi catch my fly and my cocky fresh. I'm so reckless when I rock my Givenchy dress. I'm so possessive, so I rock his rock necklaces. Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess. Paparazzi catch my fly and my cocky fresh. I'm so reckless when I rock my Givenchy dress. I'm so possessive, so I rock his rock necklaces. My dad, Alabama, mama, Louisiana. You mix that Negro with that Creole. My dad, Alabama, mama, Louisiana. You mix that Negro with that Creole, make a Texas Bama.
I'm better.
Got hot sauce in my bag. I see it, I want it. I stuck yellow on it. I dream it, I work hard, I grind till I own it. I twirl on the middle, albino alligators. Vino, Casilos, Big Cuervo, and no try. Sometimes I go out, I go hard. Yeah, what's mine? I'm a star, cause I slay. Okay, ladies, now let's get information. Cause I slay.
We are Hermiston High, and this is our career in technical education.
I feel like in my normal classes, we're in the classroom all day and we follow directions from the book and from teachers, but in our CTE classes, we get to choose more what we do, and we have more freedom to put our own creativity into things.
While you take CTE classes, you're also getting work experience, which, you know, a student right out of high school who hasn't had any work experience at all, like in any job, because they've been focusing on school. It helps a lot when you're trying to get your first job as well, because you can write down you have work experience in these CTE classes.
We do have a lot of classes such as like our media arts programs, and we have a lot of businesses like Java Dog and Dog Prince, where we take orders and we interact with customers. And so we basically run it as a business, and we have to be time efficient and get orders done.
Well, our CTE classes, we focus more on real world stuff. Like in my business classes, we focus more on the business aspect instead of like learning it from a textbook. We actually get hands-on experience, and we actually run our business ourselves as students.
And all that really helps because it gives you an insight in high school to how it's going to be like in the real world. when you probably wouldn't get that experience anywhere else because it's like an early on experience in high school.
Well, it's more interactive with robotic class actually. If you're taking one of these robotic classes, you actually interact with students. Yeah, there'll be a point that you'll be by yourself, but at the same time, it's much better to be by yourself because you learn with yourself, and then at the end of the day, we just go as a group and share each other's information.
We're taking these classes like art classes and Photoshop and like, what do we do with these things? And you can actually go like after high school to the school that learn more about and then actually get a career in doing what you like to do.
Dennison Field at Bulldog Stadium. Hermiston 21, South Albany 7. The Bulldogs scored the first 3 touchdowns of the game, took a 14-0 lead after the first quarter, with Jonathan Hinkle getting in from 2 yards out, Keaton McCamey getting a 4-yard touchdown reception. The first minute of the second quarter, Deshaun Neal caught a 9-yard fade route from Andrew James, his second touchdown pass of the game, 21-0, all Bulldogs. South Albany took control the rest of the second quarter, getting a couple of stops and finally getting themselves into the end zone in the last half minute to make it a 14-point game as they went into the locker room. And Sonny, I think the big thing is they are going to be getting the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, they got momentum going for them right now, and you know that's huge coming out of the locker room, and you know we need a stop. We need to prove back to ourselves that we are fully capable of stopping this team again.
When Les Schwab Tires makes a promise, they stand behind it. So when you buy tires for your car or truck, you get the best tire value promise for the life of the tire, because a promise is a promise. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing matters. Let's take a look at the first half statistics, Sonny.
We'll start with South Albany. South Albany ran the ball 13 times in that first half for 54 yards. Costello, 9 rushes for 32 yards. Ray Wilson, 2 for 3. And Gunner Team, 2 for 19. Passing-wise, a little more success. They were Costello was 8 of 12 for 86 yards and a touchdown. Nafzinger had 4 receptions for 51 yards and a touchdown. Hemzacek was 1 for 1. Collison 1 for 4. And Polito, 2 catches for 20 yards. Unfortunately, at the end of it, he fumbled on both of them. So for the night, 9 first downs for South Albany, and only 2 penalties for 15 yards. For Hermiston, Hermiston ran the ball 22 times for 189 yards. Andrew James, 5 rushes, 38 yards. Jonathan Hinkle, 10 rushes, 93 yards. Peter Earl, 4 rushes for 34 yards. Keaton McCamey, 2 rushes for 18 yards, and Deshaun Neal, 1 for 6. 22 rushes, 189 yards. Through the air, Andrew James, 8 of 17 for 71 yards and 2 touchdowns. Deshaun Neal, 2 receptions, 39 yards and a touchdown. Joey Gutierrez, 2 for 6 yards. Jordan Ramirez, 1 for 9. Tyler Warman, 1 for 7. And Keaton McCamey, 2 for 9 yards and a touchdown. Hermiston, 13 first downs in that first half, 7 penalties for 60 yards.
South Albany will get the ball, attacking left to right, right around 40 degrees. Bit of mist, cool, damp, not raining though, really. 21-7 is the Hermiston lead. Eli Nafziger is to the left. Cameron Hemzacek is to the right, as Deshaun Neal will kick it towards the west end zone. It will be Hemzacek down the middle of the field, 15-20. Hemzacek edges to his right at the 25, and he will push his way up to the 26-yard line. Return of about 18 yards, and South Albany's offense takes over the possession. Looking through the Dan's West Coast Auto Glass scoreboard, let's get you the 5A bracket as it stands. Number 1 seed Mountain View trailing Silverton 35-24. Churchill 21, Crescent Valley 8. Those are halftime scores. And Wilsonville 10, Lebanon 7. In a rematch of last year's title game. The winner of that game plays the winner of this one. First down and 10 from the 27. Costello to throw, near sideline, will lob it into Nafziger's hands, down the near side, and check that. Hemzacek has the catch and is spun down at the 35-yard line, a 7-yard gain. So the South Albany Rebels were able to move the ball down the field mostly using the legs of Jake Costello. Their head coach David Younger said the close games have been good for the kids. They've had games where they've had to really dig deep with their backs against the wall. You could say down 21-0 at one point. That was the case here. Hand off, right side run, and Wilson will find his way up near the 39-yard line. Their small workhorse running back moves the chains, and they mark it at the 40, first down. The senior this year has run for over 600 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, they're starting to get a lot of push out of that offensive line again, Eric, and our defensive line kind of back on our heels at the start of this second half.
Behind Kakoa Sugioka, the 350-pound right tackle. That's where they've run it a couple of times. Costello looking to throw. Deep ball, near sideline, underthrown. Roman pops it up in the air. Knopfsinger has it. He stepped out of bounds. Was off to the races, but his left foot came behind him and karaoke'd himself out of bounds at the 33. Rorman tipped it up into the air. Another jump ball between Rorman and Knopfsinger, and Rorman just poked it up, and it came right down to Eli Knopfsinger, the junior. It's a 27-yard gain. First down and 10. Keep for Costello running up the middle, and he'll be pulled down by Cody Weisner, last week's Delish Bistro player of the game, at the 31-yard line. After Costello runs for 2. Not really a breath of wind to speak of. Big American flag hanging prone to the flagpole off to the east, where South Albany's attacking right now towards Hermiston High in the east end zone. Costello pump fakes. He'll throw down the field, right side. Flag out at the end zone. Polito has it for a touchdown. Now there is a flag out. And is it Polito? Or is it Rorman? Well, Costello just turned and run towards the sideline, signifying he was standing near the white hat, that this is going to be on Hermiston. Holding against the defense, it will be moved to the kickoff. And so Oswaldo Ramirez to make this a one-score game out of the hold of Joe Dunn. 9:59 on the clock in the third quarter. The snap is pending. Now it's there. Kick is up. It's through. 21-14, 9:59 left in the third. Let's take a break. This is the 5A quarterfinals, Hermiston and South Albany from Hermiston's Kennison Field. Maybe one.
Catches, he's got.
Kicking from the 50, Ramirez's kick will be taken by Deshaun Neal at the 3. Neal just across the 15 up near the 18-yard line, where Polito pulls him down. Polito just caught the 31-yard touchdown pass. I'm Eric Olson alongside Sonny Leby with you from the Old West Federal Credit Union broadcast booth in Hermiston. It's the OSA, U.S. Bank, Les Schwab Tires 5A Football State Championship quarterfinals. Hermiston scored the first 21. South Albany scored the last 14. It's a touchdown lead for the Bulldogs as their offense takes over with 9:53 left in the third quarter. Jonathan Hinkle to the right shoulder of Andrew James. 2 receivers each way on 1st and 10 from the 17. Handed to Hinkle up the middle. Big hole. He's at the 30, 25. Breaks away. He's in midfield and he's gone. 40, 30, 25, 20. Down the middle of the field. 10, 5. Touchdown! Hermiston. It's an 83-yard score right down Broadway for John.
Nobody stayed at home on the safety position. They all went over and double teamed on Deshaun Neal, and Hinkle had nothing but clear sailing.
Jonathan Hinkle got in from 2 yards out, a minute and a half into the game. Jonathan Hinkle gets in from 83 yards out, just over 2 minutes into the third quarter. Deshaun Neal on the extra point. He's been perfect tonight and stays that way, 4 for 4. And quickly, Hermiston is back in front by 14, 28-14. Well, Jonathan Hinkle is having one of those nights, Sonny.
Yes, he is. Now he's started where Andrew James did, 36 yards away from him hitting 1,000 yards for the year. He's got 176 yards on just 11 carries on the night, Eric.
He came into the night at 788, and I didn't put him on the list of guys who potentially could be 1,000-yarders because I figured he'd need 2 weeks to get there, but you just look at, I mean, obviously what an 83-yard run can do for somebody to their season total this year, but at 176 yards this season, it betters his 141 yards against Bend, which was his top rushing total of the year. And Hermiston, for their fan base, it re-energizes Bulldog Stadium here tonight. There's a good fan contingent that has made the trip over from South Albany. And this team out of the Mid-Willamette Conference, the champions of the Mid-Willamette Conference, their first quarterfinal ever.
Yeah, it's a very good South Albany crowd.
Deshaun Neal is going to squib a kick near sideline, takes a couple of hops, and will be taken at the 25-yard line. Up across the 35, Colton Green will take it to the 36-yard line. And so now the question's going to be, can Hermiston get themselves a stop here? South Albany has scored on their last 2 drives. First down and 10. Right hash mark set for Jake Costello. He's got it back to his left shoulder. 2 receivers right and a man to the left. Put in the belly of Ray Wilson running right. Wilson outside the numbers, fights off a tackle, fights off another, all the way across the 40-yard line. Second, third, and fourth efforts get Wilson up to the 41 on a 5-yard gain.
The time there, Peter Earl had him stopped for basically no gain, and then he fought away, and Tyler Rorman had to end up making the tackle after he broke away.
9 minutes, 24 seconds left in the third quarter. Hermiston's lead is 28-14. South Albany with Gunnar Team in the backfield to the right shoulder of Costello. Again, 2 receivers to the short side of the field right. Put in Team's belly, running right. Team's got a hole. Team across midfield. Team bounces off of another tackler. Team keeps on churning his legs down to the Hermiston 40-yard line, running for 19.
And they are just absolutely owning us on the line, especially right up the middle. They went right off of the tackle center hole, or the guard center hole that time on the push, and Team just kept churning.
To the 40-yard line, the ball has been moved. 9 minutes left in the third quarter. 2-touchdown lead for Hermiston. Polito wide to the left side. Inside of him, Dunn is tight to the formation. And Nafziger to the right. Costello to run. Costello caught by Blake in the backfield and finished off. I think Campbell got in there to help on the sack. Bo Blake, the first one in. It was Wisner, the second one in, to finish off Jake Costello. And Costello maybe a little shaken up as he's, or maybe just his headgear got smashed up. Ends up losing 4 yards back to the 44-yard line. First sack of the night, I believe.
Yes, it was.
And for Bo Blake, it's his second of the season. Wisner, his first time in on a quarterback sack. Second down and 14. Low snap, Costello picks it up, throws it left side. Polito has it at the 40. Polito breaks a tackle, he's at the 30. Tie rope at the sideline, he stepped out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Ends up being about an 8-yard gain for Anthony Polito, who has had a roller coaster of his night. His first 2 catches, 20 yards and 2 fumbles. But now he's got a receiving touchdown from 31 yards out, and that pass completion brings up 3rd down and 2. South Albany trying to extend the drive. 4 down territory, you got to assume, from the 33. 3rd and 3. Costello gives it to Team. Team caught in the middle of the field, and he's short. Maybe a yard on the play, and in there Wisner on the stop. Helped out by Peter Earl. The tail of the ball just on the 33. 4th down and 3. Essentially no gain for Governor Team. 3:35 left in the 3rd quarter. 28-14. Costello and Team in the backfield again. Hermiston showing pressure right up the middle, and Hinkle jumped off sides. That's going to give South Albany the first down.
Dead ball. Encroachment against the defense. 5-yard penalty.
Encroachment against the defense. And so the ball with the penalty is taken up to the 27-yard line. And a new set of downs for the South Albany Rebels. Team again in the backfield to the right of Costello. Motion, Nafziger left to right. Sweep play, handoff to Nafziger. Nafziger turns upfield after he got a good block from Team, dives his way to the 23-yard line. Good hit laid down on Eric White by Team, coming out as a lead blocker on that sweep play. 5-yard gain. It'll be a shotgun set again. Team to the right shoulder. 2 receivers right. And now Nafziger left to right. Fake it to him. Costello's going to keep running behind Team. Costello is hammered by Peter Earl right in the middle of the field. Wisner had slowed him up, and Earl came across and crushed the South Albany quarterback.
Just for a yard gain or 2-yard pickup that time. That was a lot of punishment.
Third down, and we'll call it 2. Tail of the ball across the 20. Need to get inside the 18. Hand off to Wilson up the middle. Wilson, he lost the ball. Hermiston says they've got it. There's a pile right around the 18-yard line. Bulldogs have the ball. Another fumble, and it's Peter Earl, Johnny, on the spot.
Orale! That was Peter Earl's series that time of being able to go ahead and make some big hits. And the recovery.
4th fumble lost for South Albany tonight. And the turnover game in Hermiston's favor, obviously, quite significantly. And the Bulldogs look to capitalize and add on to their 28-14 lead. 5:49 left in the 3rd quarter. Bulldog offense just had the 83-yard touchdown run by Jonathan Hinkle. Hinkle will be behind James. 3 receiver options right. McCamey is a tight end left. Pistol set, turn in hand. Hinkle running left. Hinkle dives around a tackler, jump steps to his right, and at the 25-yard line is where he stood up by a plethora of white shirts. A 5-yard gain. Flag out for a late activity after that play had concluded. We check on the marker with 5 minutes and 37 seconds left in the third quarter. And Hermiston up by 2 touchdowns. Face mask penalty against South Albany. They haven't really had many problems tonight, Sonny.
No, that's just their third penalty of the night for 30 yards. I mean, being the 15-yard penalty that time. They've had a really good night. Hermiston's kind of been on the downside of it.
But Hermiston can get themselves on their front foot here after another fumble with the ball, up by 2 touchdowns, trying to add on at the 40-yard line. Motion, Gutierrez, right to left, handoff on a sweep, hit in the backfield by Kyle Miller, will hit Joey and drop him for a loss of 4 back to the 37-yard line.
With this type of a defense, Eric, that is way too slow to hit the gaps. And if you're going to try and play that type of football, they're going to put us back on our heels back there.
Second down at about 14 at the 37-yard line. Left hash mark set. Peter Earl is in the backfield along with Andrew James, who moves him from his right side to his left side. 2 receivers each way. Blitz coming off of the backside. It's going to be a quarterback keeper on an option. And across the 40-yard line, James will matriculate up to the 41. He was pulled down by McCoy and Diaz. And now 3rd down and 9 for Hermiston. 4:10 left in the third quarter. The clock is spinning. The Bulldogs leading South Albany 28-14. This OSAA US Bank Les Schwab Tires 5A quarterfinal. James takes a snap, rolling right, pump fakes. Now he'll throw deep. Ramirez behind everybody, catches it inside the 30. His momentum carries him out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Jordan Ramirez, his first catch of the night. And it's a big one.
30-yard pickup that time for Hermiston and Jordan Ramirez.
Under 4 minutes remaining. Hermiston down in South Albany territory. 1st down and 10 from the 29. Peter Earl in the backfield takes a handoff, running up the middle. Earl hit hard, but up to the 23-yard line. It was the inside linebacker, Preston Mayer, the first team All-Mid-Willamette selection, who pulled down Peter Earl, but not before. I mean, he's in the second level when he gets to Mayer, so he's got a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, that was a nice job that time by Peter, just putting the head back down and going hard. Going north and south, Eric, makes all the difference. And, Jonathan Hinkle showed that all night tonight. Now Peter Earl's starting to show it again.
2nd down and 4. Earl again running left, dives over the top of Mayer and gets himself to the 17-yard line. 5-yard gain, and Hermiston will move the chains.
That's Peter's 6th rush on the night, Eric, for 45 yards on the night. Doing a good job of giving Jonathan Hinkle a little bit of breathers whenever he needs it out there.
Bulldogs have got this balance thing down pretty well. With their offense tonight, they are approaching 5,000 total yards this season. They need to be up above 550 tonight to get there. 1st down and 10. Hinkle's back in. Fake to him. Throw right side. Out of the quick screen. Neal's got it. Neal dives himself forward to the 12-yard line. Deshaun Neal has been the focal point for this South Albany defense. 2nd down and 4 from the 12. Hinkle to the right shoulder of James. 2 receiver each way. Handoff, Hinkle running left. Hinkle edges back to his right into the end zone, but there is a flag out as Jonathan Hinkle dances into the purple end zone for the 3rd time tonight. I think this one's coming back, however. There's a flag sitting down at the 9, and 2:03 left in the third quarter.
Holding against the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Holding is the call. It'll move it back to the 19 and wipe a Hinkle touchdown off of the scoreboard. 28-14 Hermiston with 1:45 left in the third quarter. Ramirez and Neal wide right. Gutierrez and Walshley left. Hinkle to the left shoulder of Andrew James, the junior quarterback, slaps his hands together, fakes, throws out to the right side. Neal has it to the 15. Neal coming to his left, breaks his tackles at the 10, spins down and reaches for the goal line, just short of it. Pulled down just inside the 2-yard line. The saving tackle on the play looked to be made by Team.
That is the quick hitting one that you need to do. You got to have that out there quick so Deshaun can go ahead and make some moves if he needs to. And he did a very good job of throwing the tackling arm away from him with his right arm and stretching out.
First down and goal from the 2. Hinkle right down Broadway, puts his shoulder down. He is stopped on the first one. It was Christian Caspino, the 310-pound sophomore, who stood up Hinkle. They will say he got back to the line of scrimmage. Second down and goal from the 2. Final 50 seconds in the third quarter. Hermiston knocking on the door to get back in front by 3 touchdowns. They've led by as much as 21. South Albany's been as close as 21-14. Hinkle to the left shoulder, James. James looking to throw. Quickly, right side, right at the goal line. In the end zone, Hermiston has another touchdown. Joey Gutierrez with the catch.
Nice
Just a little 2-yarder, but it's his 4th touchdown of the season.
Andrew, I was going to say run the clock out, even if we didn't score in the third, we're down there where we could run the rest of it out.
Yeah, wind doesn't really matter as far as kicking direction tonight. Deshaun Neal is 4 for 4 out of the hold of Jordan Ramirez. Snaps there. Kick is blocked. Polito coming off of the edge, and he dove out and got to the Neal kick. So the block means that Hermiston's lead is 20 at 34-14. Just 27 seconds remaining in the third quarter. This OSAA US Bank Les Schwab Tires 5A State Championship quarterfinal. U.S. Bank teams together to support its customers and communities. They are pleased to champion athletic and activity-based programs that enrich the quality of life for everyone. You can count on every U.S. banker to serve you. Cheer on the spirit of teamwork. U.S. Bank, proud to support the Oregon School Activities Association. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Looking through the Dan's West Coast Auto Glass scoreboard, we'll start here. 5:49 left in the third quarter. Silverton 42, Mountain View 34. Sonny, what else do you got in front of you?
Shows Wilsonville 17-7 over Lebanon, and Churchill 21-8. That was the last score we had at halftime over Crescent Valley.
The winner of the Wilsonville-Lebanon game being played at Randall Stadium at Wilsonville High School's campus tonight will take on the winner of this one in the semis next week. Likely Hillsboro Stadium, but I wouldn't rule out Willamette University and Salem as well, depending on what happens with Crescent Valley and the Churchill Lancers. Ball goes through the end zone, and for the second time this season, Deshaun Neal's got a touchback kicking off. That was kind of a low line drive screamer, and it screamed right past South Albany's Eli Knopfsiger into the end zone for the touchback. So South Albany with 27 seconds left in the third quarter, down by 20, have the ball on the 20. Both teams with their full complement of timeouts. First down and 10. Dunn and Cullison to the left. to the right. Knopfsiger and Polito. Empty backfield for Costello. First down and 10. Flag out near sideline. Costello's going to pull it down, and he's going to look to run near sideline. Shepherded out of bounds by McCamey right at the 20-yard line. The penalty, though, I believe is going to be somebody lined, well, it's going to be a South Albany Rebel lined off on sides.
Well, we got kind of lucky there because we were a little bit misaligned. Joey Gutierrez was way inside on that and had to come on a dead run to get over into coverage, you know, on the inside backer or the inside receiver for South Albany. Maybe a little bit of a break that they didn't see it.
No flag on the play.
Oh. Peter Earl on the push out for a 1-yard loss on Costello there.
Second down and 10 from the 20. No. They say loss of a yard, and now Hermiston's misaligned again, so they're going to call a timeout.
Yeah, somebody's just not coming out on this other receiver out here, and they're getting lost. I mean, I know that, you know, you got 4 receivers. Got 4 receivers that you got to be able to cover, and if you only put 3 guys even close to where those receivers are, you're going to have at least a 10-yard gap of
backfield. 3 options left, 2 options right. Costello looking to throw. In the middle of the field, dumps it off. Polito hit hard by Joey Gutierrez after he makes the catch up to the 28-yard line. Gain of 9, and it's the last play of the third quarter. Hermiston 34, South Albany 14. We're back in a minute. You're listening to the 5A quarterfinals in Hermiston. Third down, Costello to throw. Deep ball over the middle behind everybody. It is caught into Hermiston territory by Hemzacek to start the fourth quarter. South Albany has Costello hook up on a deep ball. This is the Cardiac Kid team. They have come from behind over and over and over again. Does South Albany have magic? Down by 20 with a quarter left in their first ever quarterfinal appearance. 3 receivers left. 2 to the right for Costello, an empty backfield. Straight drop, looking to throw. Deep ball, left side for Polito. Ramirez knocks it out, and they're going to call him for pass interference. Little bump before the ball got there. And so it'll move it 15 yards closer for South Albany down to the 27-yard line.
91 yards so far, Eric, in penalties against Hermiston on the night tonight. compared to 30 for South Albany.
So the 15-yard penalty. Do they know where it's supposed to go? They moved the chains already.
Oh, no.
It should be the 27. Oh, over on the far side, they do have the right spot. They know it's at the 42. All right, now they had to put it 14, and then the official had one of his friends come over and give him an extra 10 digits, so they got it 15 yards correctly marched off. Not even 30 seconds into the fourth quarter. 34-14, Hermiston. Jake Costello trying to engineer a South Albany comeback. 3 receivers bunched to the left. Handoff to Team, running right. Team into the hole. Hit by Earl, breaks away. Flag out as Team gets himself with forward progress to the 22, gaining about 6.
We'll see what the penalty is on the play.
I don't know. This one comes in weird. It's a face mask is what's been the indication. It's a 5-yard face mask, so it moves it down to the 18. They said repeat first down.
No.
Because it's a yard short, so first down and 1.
Well, that's weird because they marked it off at a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, it is. First down and 1. Team to the left shoulder of Costello. 3 receiver options left, short side of the field. Costello, pump fake, throws, one-on-one, right corner of the end zone. Ball popped up into the air. It is incomplete. Pulled in acrobatically by Nafziger, but by the time he had secured the catch, he was about 3 yards out of the back of the end zone.
That's a nice little combination there, and for some reason, Hermiston's not playing that bad a defense, but they're just not turning around to find the ball quick enough.
Tyler Ehrman's right there with him, step for step on his hip. If he's not there, it's a TD. Instead, it's second down and 1. Trips options right in a bunch formation. Nafziger alone to the left. Team to the left shoulder of Costello, the quarterback. Will keep it running right. Caught by Bo Blake right in the hole. I don't think he gained anything. Third down and still a yard. Ball right in the middle of the field, precariously between the hash mark 17 and the hash mark 18. On this turf field in Hermiston. Third down and 1. Costello and Team again. Costello gives the Team. Team goes left. Team stood up. Team second effort. Third effort pulled down by Hinkle. Depends on forward progress.
I don't think they got it there, but they're going to go again.
Right, they're going to go again. Oh, they don't even look. They didn't even pull the chains over to look. They just pointed first down.
They gave, that's...
Right, Scott Hammond is beside himself on the near sideline. The defense coordinator wants to know why they didn't even get a mark. First down and 10, supposedly. Drop ball by Costello, picks it back up, throws to the end zone, batted away by Ruben, and a flag comes out.
That was a great defensive play. He cannot call that play.
He can, and he did, with 9:38 left in the fourth quarter. Hermiston's lead is 20. This pass interference will move it half the distance to the goal.
Defensive pass interference. Half the distance to the previous spot.
Bluebirds come out. I mean, the only thing could be if Tyler Rohrman's left hand was doing something to the body of an Nafziger, while his right hand was going up to bat the ball away. Now half the distance moves it down to just inside the 9. It's not enough for a first down. So first down and 1. Costello looking to throw. Lobs it to the left corner. It is a back shoulder pass stolen away by Tyler Roman.
Yes, nice job, Tyler.
No, Yabani Razone. Yabani Razone was the one who picked it off.
Wow, nice job.
Oh, Yabani Razone on a back corner pass, came back and took it away. I was down here Monday at practice, and they were specifically working on those types of plays where you run with your back not knowing where the ball's going, but knowing it was going to be one of those comeback routes. And Razone put himself in the right position to steal it out of the hands of the intended receiver. And Hermiston's got their 5th turnover of the night, leading 34-14 with 9:24 left. Trying to get to the semifinals for the 2nd time in their school's history. Blitz coming off of the edge. James keeps it, throws near sideline. Gutierrez has it as James gets hammered. Gutierrez makes one man miss, makes another miss. He's at the 40 near sideline, makes another miss at the 50. Running down the near sideline, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Bulldogs! And 80. At the 45, and the Bulldogs are in front 40-14 with the try pending.
And Eric, that's the 3rd week in a row that those two have connected for long touchdown passes, and Joey Gutierrez just outrunning the defense to the end zone.
He had to break 3 tackles down the Hermiston sideline to get there.
Deshaun's got to get this up quick. He can't be back there like he did last time. They've been close every single play.
They blocked the last point after attempt. They're all coming off of the near side. They're going to fake it. Neal has it, pitched to him from Ramirez. Neal coming to the near sideline, looking around. He can throw. Neal pump fakes. Ball's knocked out, picked up by Wilson, and so the 2-point conversion is failed dramatically.
There was an awful lot of pointing and moving around on both lines out there, as if, South Albany thought that Hermiston jumped, and then Hermiston thought that South Albany jumped, and that's why they picked it up and started to go after the 2-point conversion.
40-14, Hermiston, with 9 minutes and 8 seconds left in the regulation ball game. Bulldogs looking to make their 8th consecutive win and go to 9-2 on the season. The only other time they went to the semifinals, 2014, when they went to the state championship game. It's their 17th ever playoff appearance. 10-15 is their overall playoff record. 4th time into the quarterfinals. In 2014, they beat Liberty in the quarterfinals at Liberty High School, and it was, negative 400 degrees. It's one of the only times I don't think we opened the windows up.
Yeah.
19-14, Hermiston survived the Liberty game.
I survived it here. That was the day that you told me not to make the drive through the gorge.
Oh, I did that game with Billy, that's right, because it was so icy.
Yeah, you told me not to make the drive. Thank you.
You're welcome. Deshaun Neal to kick it away. It was Marist, by the way, in the semis, and Silverton in the final. At the 15-yard line, up to the 20-25. This is Nafsager. Nafsager out to the right side, 30. Nafsager stood up, and forward progress is going to be right around the 30-yard line.
It's like Peter Earl on the stop that time. Yeah, it is Peter Earl on the stop that time. Did a great job of getting down there and getting in the middle of that scrum.
South Albany has made some incredible comebacks this year. They're on a 3-game win streak. They're looking for their first ever semifinal appearance. The Mid-Willamette Conference champions. Does David Younger's team got a bit more magic in them? 8:58 left, trailing 40-14. Snap low, Costello picks it up, throws near sideline. Dunn has it. Dunn makes a man miss. He's at the 35-40, and he's shepherded out of bounds by Yabani Razone, who had an interception just a minute or two ago at the 39-yard line. But Joe Dunn, the possession receiver. He's 5'5", 140s. As his head coach said, almost always going to be the smallest guy on the field. The junior, though, has got himself a handful of catches tonight. And Dunn will be on the near sideline in a bunch with Polito and Isaac Southwick. And one man alone to the right on 1st down and 10. Costello pump fakes. He'll throw deep ball right side. It's a battle. It is dropped in and out of the hands of Seth Collison, who's battling upfield with Rohrman. A lot of deep balls into the one-on-one right now for South Albany. They're just finding the one-on-one matchup and trying to exploit it.
You know, that's the bad thing. You've got to go for the passes now, and you got to try and go deep. And, you know, when you leave the ball up in the air that long, Hermiston just needs to find the football. When that receiver starts to slow down, they got to be able to find the ball.
2nd and 10, handoff to Team running right side. Team into the hole where Hinkle meets him, and a 5-yard gain for Gunner Team, the senior running back running right. You're listening to the 5A quarterfinals, FM 94.1 and AM 920 KSHO, Lebanon, Albany, Corvallis, and AM 1360 KOHU Hermiston. Near sideline throw, Dunn's got it again. Gutierrez chasing him, shoves him out of bounds at the 45 into Hermiston territory. 6-yard gain, and it'll move the chains. 40-14, the Hermiston lead with 8:16 left in the 4th quarter. South Albany Rebels looking for another comeback night. Costello to throw. He's rushed out of the pocket, going to the right side. Costello stuck on the edge and pulled down. It's another sack for Hermiston. This time, Eric White chases down Costello, who is still looking to tee it downfield, but couldn't. South Albany's got to go no huddle with under 8 minutes left and a 40-14 deficit facing them. 2nd and 15 after the 5-yard loss. Costello takes a snap, straight drop, pressured, throws as he hit over the right side. It is bobbled and caught down to the 38-yard line. And Nafziger is the one who holds on to it for the 12-yard gain. 3rd down and 3. No huddle continues. Polito shifts out to the right. 3 options will be that way. 1 alone to the left. Costello throws it right side. Quick in and out. Polito's got it. Polito spins off a tackler down the near sideline. 20 comes back to his left at the 15. Coming to the middle of the field. That is where he is piled down at the 13-yard line by Deshaun Neal. Boy, Polito was dangerously close to running out of bounds himself and coming back into bounds, but he apparently stayed in, and so now South Albany's got it down to the 12 is where they spotted it. Costello's got 2 receivers left on 1st down and 10. Low snap, Wilson stays in the block. Fade route, right corner, too high, incomplete. It was like an alley-oop out of the hands of Eli Nafziger, who is a basketball kid. He didn't play football last year. He and 2 other receivers, Costello the quarterback and McCoy the center, are all starters for Justin Smith, who's to our left in the box and is the co-offensive coordinator with David Younger. 2nd down and 10. Motion Dunn left to right across the formation. There's 2 that way. Costello throws it quick behind Dunn, incomplete. Bulldogs have some basketball kids themselves out there on the floor. Andrew James, Jordan Ramirez. There's talk that Deshaun Neal, who didn't play last year but played as a sophomore, is thinking about coming back. Casey Arstein in his 2nd year in charge of the boys program. We talked to Walken Rodriguez during halftime. The girls chomping at the bit to get started. Practices start Monday for basketball teams. 3rd down and 10. Throw near sideline. Polito dropped it.
He was going to get hammered anyway because Joey Gutierrez came up. Joey Gutierrez came up and was getting ready to hit it along with Razone.
South Albany's going to call a timeout. 6:48 left, down 40-14 here in the fourth quarter. We'll take the 1-minute break on KOHU and KSHO. Deep into the bag of tricks on 4th down and 10 from the 12. A handoff to Anthony Polito, running left to right, stopped, threw it back, the toss back for Jay Costello. Andrew James was defending. It was underthrown, and it's a turnover on downs. Was that the last gasp effort for the South Albany Rebels? They're down 40-14. It would take a more miraculous comeback than any they've had this season, although it has been a magical year for the Mid-Willamette Conference champions. 1st down and 10 from the 12. Hermiston takes over. Jonathan Enkel running right side. Cut back to his left. He's got space. He's at the 20. Coming outside the hash marks, 25-30. At the numbers, he stopped up and tripped up. Pulled down by Kale Mata, the honorable mention selection out of the Mid-Willamette Conference. But Hinkle is able to run it for 22 yards and a Hermiston 1st down. And South Albany will call a timeout with 6:30 left in the fourth quarter. 40-14 Hermiston. We'll take the 1-minute break. You're listening to the 5A quarterfinals on KSHO and KOHU. Jonathan Enkel's run out of the timeout goes for 70 yards. Anthony Polito takes him down. 2nd down and 3 for Hermiston at the 41. Ball in the middle of the park, 2 receivers each way. Peter Earl is into the left shoulder of Andrew James, who is into clock control now, looking to the back judge till he raises his hand to signify 5 seconds in the play clock. Hand off to Earl. Earl is hammered in the backfield. Nice bull rush by Ray Wilson, the defensive end. That senior got right back to the point of the handoff and hit Earl for a loss of 3.
Yeah, that was a nice job that time. And, you know, they need to go ahead and ball control this like Andrew's doing right now. Get him in there and get it done.
Up 40-14. Hermiston trying to see out the rest of this 5A quarterfinal, get themselves to the semis next week. at the 39. Third down and about 5. Motion James, right to left. James will take the handoff on the sweep. James will get the first down, reaching across the 45-yard line to the 46 and across Kale Mata. David Younger, the head coach, took over in 2013. He was at Harrisburg prior to that. And it was just a couple of coaches ago when Kale Mata's dad was in charge of the South Albany program back 2011 and before. First down and 10 from the 47-yard line. James again looking to the back judge, gets the hand raised for 5 seconds left. Blitz coming to the near sideline. James keeps it, running up the middle, breaks one tackle, and he reaches forward to the 50-yard line. 3-yard gain. And a second down and 7 for Hermiston. Under 4.5 minutes left in the ball game. South Albany's down to just one timeout. They're going to have to force a turnover. Something Hermiston hasn't been willing to do tonight. South Albany's turned the ball over 5 times. It's really the difference in the score line. 2nd and 7 from the 50. James fakes a handoff, option left, pitches it to Earl. Earl coming back to his right behind a blocker and dives up to the 45-yard line in South Albany territory. 5-yard gain, and Hermiston will face a third down at about 2. I imagine they're going for it if they don't get it on third down. And if they get another set of first downs, this thing is all but over. Bulldogs will try to stretch the field with 2 receivers each way on this third down and 2 from the 45. Neal, sweep play, running right side. Neal went backwards. Neal's caught in the backfield and lost a yard, maybe 2. No, a yard back to the 46-yard line. So it's 4th down and 3. I think David Faitete is going to keep the offense out on the field. Joey Gutierrez has not punted yet tonight. Is that right?
No, he has not.
No punts. 40-14 is Hermiston's lead. 2:45 left. Hinkle in the backfield to the left of James. Andrew snaps, quick punt. Down the middle of the field, takes a Hermiston roll inside the 25, inside the 20, inside the 15, inside the 10. It keeps on rolling, and that's just the way it's gone for Hermiston tonight. Every bounce has been theirs, and at the 2-yard line, it is touched up. South Albany, they might even put that down at the 1.
Yeah, they got it at the 1.
Andrew James with a perfect quick kick. And South Albany's got 99 yards in front of him. What very well could be the final drive of the season for the South Albany Rebels, the champions of the Mid-Willamette Conference, with 40-14 facing them.
See, that's the second time in a row that they broke their huddling up, Eric, with 12 players.
Now, this time they didn't break it with 12. They broke it at 11, and they rushed a guy all the way off the field and then back on. Costello in the end zone will hand off. It's team running right, team across the 5. Team still on his feet, churning his legs across the 10 and up to the 13-yard line. Just no quit in this team.
No, that time they're tackled by, looked like Walshley out on the play that time.
Gunner team's going to get some Rebel Jacks from Rob Younger, the special teams coach, the father of David Younger, 4 decades in football. He's the director of the Oregon Athletic Coaches Association. Rebel Jacks are Skittles.
Skittles.
He brings Skittles to practice every day.
Well, that's what he said. You said Skittles, and he said Rebel Jacks. Whatever it is.
No, I said Rebel Jacks too.
Yeah.
But he calls the Skittles Rebel Jacks.
That time they got called for breaking the huddle with 12.
And so it's a 5-yard penalty.
Just their 4th on the night, though, Eric.
Under 2 minutes remaining. I had to get the Rebel Jacks note in. It's too good. He says, you know, anytime a kid's getting a little hot or they make a great play, they get some Rebel Jacks. A couple of Skittles, little Marshawn Lynch influence, I guess. First down and 15, handoff. And a running left, jump cut back to the right. All the way across the 20, flag out. His team drags Peter Earl all the way up to the 23-yard line.
See what they have here, if they have a holding.
While we find out, we can tell you at Les Schwab Tires, they can't guarantee, if they can't guarantee something, they simply won't sell it. So whether you're coming in for tires, brakes, or alignment, you'll know the peace of mind comes standard. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing matters. The penalty is against Hermiston. With 1:42 left in regulation, Hermiston in front 40-14. It'll move the ball up to the 33-yard line. On the left hash mark, it is set, and now clock started spinning there, and so I think they're going to have to put some time back on it.
Please put 1:41 back on the clock.
They'll put 6 seconds back on the clock. This is the last time Hermiston will, as an OSA representative, host an OSAA team on Kennison Field. Deep throw, jump ball. Razone knocks it out of the hands of the intended receiver. Luke Walshley was over to help out, trying to get it into Polito's hands. And so it's incompletion. No matter what, next week is a game that will be held on a neutral field. Could be Wilsonville, could be Lebanon. They're having a rematch of last year's title game. Hermiston in their farewell season trying to get to the 5A championship game. A year from now, they will play no further away than Walla Walla, less than an hour up the river and up the road from here. As a member of the WIAA and the Mid-Columbia Conference. Second down, screen play, up the middle. Dunn's got it, coming near sideline. Dunn's got some blockers, 45-50. Hit from behind. And a good chase down by Cody Thacker to make the tackle. But Dunn does have an ice gain, gets it into Hermiston territory by a yard. With 84 seconds remaining, 40-14 the score line. Costello throws right side. He's got space into Cullison's hands. Cullison come back to the middle of the field and tackled at the 43-yard line. Hermiston doing their best to rotate some new guys in. Jonathan Enkel here on the near sideline. We can pretty much call this player of the game thing now. Far sideline, Polito's got it. Polito's out of bounds. So Polito, he's 6 feet tall. He's 130 pounds. He keeps his weight down even during football season because wrestling's one of those #1 sports for him. And so Polito, I suppose he can eat a little bit in the post-game meal that Hermiston's Booster Club will host for South Albany. But he's got to start thinking about getting onto the mats. First down and 10 from the 36. Costello deep ball right side. He's got men out there. And Dunn pulls it in. Dunn's got the ball in traffic. All the way down to the 2-yard line. And illegal use of hands is called. They'll decline it. 49 seconds left. South Albany trying to tack on a TD here to close out their 2017 campaign. They'll huddle. And they will put an I formation out there for the first time tonight. Costello under center, hands it off, up the middle, team touchdown. Gunner team gets into the end zone with 45 seconds remaining. And South Albany High School. They're down by 20. So I guess you go for 2 here. Yeah. You go for 2. Actually, it doesn't matter. They'll go for 2 anyways.
Back in the eye.
Costello. Wilson dots the I behind team. Play action. Costello looking for the throwback to the near side, and it just never came. Towards the end zone, it will be caught on the back of the end zone by Colby Romville. And so Romville catches a 2-point conversion. 40-22, 45 seconds left. Let's take a 1-minute break on KOHU and KSHO. How far was the team run? 2 yards?
Yes.
So Dr. Drott says that's a final.
Is there an update on the Silverton game?
Not for a little bit. Well, the kickoff, Hands team is out there. Onside kick, booted, couple of bounces, taken down by Neal, and Neal lost his footing, or he might have been able to return that for a touchdown. 44 seconds left. South Albany with 1 timeout, down 40-22. 4 minutes to go. Silverton 42, Mountain View 40. About 5 minutes ago in the game clock, that one, so about 9 minutes left in the game. Mountain View had scored, but they missed the 2-point conversion. We're being told Wilsonville beat Lebanon 31-7. Wilsonville and Hermiston next week. Hermiston in the V for victory formation. James will take a knee. South Albany will call a timeout. And make Hermiston snap it 2 more times. So you, by the way, can get your state championship merchandise from osaastore.com. The store has been updated and more user-friendly than ever. Get commemorative shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and much more. If you need a shirt from past years, they can get you one of those as well. It's osaastore.com.
They just need to hand it to Jonathan one time.
What's he at?
203.
So
he needs 2 yards.
2 yards for 2,000 this year?
Yes. Well, let's see. Is it 2? No.
I think he needs a little more than 2.
He needs 9 yards.
Yeah.
1, but they're not going to give it to him.
Nope. They're going to kneel on it. To James, he'll kneel. The clock will start. They'll whistle the ready to play with about 32 seconds left. The way things were going tonight in other areas of the state, there could be football games here over the next couple weeks. Last snap is taken, last kneel, and the Hermiston Bulldogs are into the semifinals. 40-22, they beat the South Albany Rebels here tonight on Kennison Field at Bulldog Stadium in the OSAA US Bank Les Schwab Tires 5A State Championship quarterfinals. Post-game show coming your way after these 2 minutes on KSHO and KOHU.
All right, thank you, Mr. Olson.
No problem, kid.
See you Monday.
Sounds good.